Well, well, well. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 1. Without question, the easiest game Arsenal will play all season. And I don't even think it's close. We'll have tougher games within the next few weeks. Chelsea next week at the Bridge will be tougher than that because that was fucking easy. That was absolutely easy. Oh boy, oh boy. Anyway, lads, before we get into the review, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit subscribe because what we're going to do today, we're going to do it slightly different. We're going to dive into the tactical stuff and you will see more of this going forward. So make sure you're locked in. Now, first half, I mean, it was all Arsenal, wasn't it? It was all Arsenal. Spurs did absolutely nothing. In fact, I don't even think they had a shot on goal. Never mind a shot on target. Like I can't remember one that they had. And I think from Tottenham's perspective, tactically, I mean, look, I understand the logic that Thomas Frank was working with, right? Going to a back three and kind of keeping it, I guess, trying to keep it compact. I understand the logic, right? Because in his head, he's probably thinking, you know what? We're the inferior team. How do we stifle and frustrate Arsenal to the point where we can nick a goal on the counter-attack? How do we do that? I understand the thinking. The problem is the way they set up played into Arsenal's hands. Because, and I believe this to be a fact as well. I believe Arteta told the players to target the wide areas of Spurs. And that's what we did. That's what we did. And it proved effective. Tottenham, in my opinion, they played into our hands because what's our, outside of the many strengths that we have, our wide players will cause you problems because you have Saka and Timber on the right side, who, in my opinion, his attacking quality is severely underrated by a lot of people. You've got Trossard, who's been very good this season, and you've got Calafiori, who's been excellent. Why would you try and keep it narrow and compact when you've got that, like, in the wide areas that the opposition are at? Like, why would you do that? Why? I don't know. I feel Thomas Frank got it wrong, but we'll dive into it. Anyway, let's not waste any time. All right, now, what you're seeing here is how we set up. You know, standard 4-3-3 shape, what we would normally go with. In fact, we'll just drop that a little deeper there. Now, this is how Tottenham set up. Now, you can see what I mean by it being narrow, right? Because they started with 3 centre-backs, 2 wing-backs, 2 in midfield, 2 tens, and the number 9, right? In these positions, you had Jed Spence. Well, no. In these positions, you had Jed Spence and you had Destiny Udogie, right? With Romero, Van de Ven, I believe, on the left side, and wait, no. It was I believe it was Danzo on the side, and it was Van de Ven here. And then you had Paulinho and Bentancur in the midfield, Audebert, Kudus, Richarlison. Now again, like I was saying, I understand the logic. You go with those 3 wing backs, 2 sort of defensive midfielders, 2 tens, and a quick like number 9 in Richarlison, right? I understand the logic. But when you first look at this, what's the main problem you see, lads? Yep. These areas here are exposed. So what's going to have to happen in this instance is these players here are going to have to come wide. He's going to have to come here. He's going to have to come here. And this centre-back is going to have to push up. And then the number 9 probably dropping off here. Now, normally, that wouldn't be an issue. But in this instance, it is. And the reason being is when you're set up in a narrow shape like this, right? Naturally, you're going to have Saka up here. You're going to have Timber move up. Trossard's going to come here. Call's going to overlap, which again, like we mentioned, these players are going to have to shuffle across. And then Moreno's going to occupy this space, which means he's going to have to drop back. And then Eze, Rice, Zubimendi as well. And then you're going to have these boys push up too, right? And all of a sudden, Tottenham are outnumbered in the middle because you've essentially got 4 players on you, because these boys are trying to keep the wide players from causing in and cutting problems. But before he can shuffle across, Saka's already gone. And then he's going to have to drop back here with the 2 centre-backs coming here. Now, and look, this is exactly what happened with the second goal, because you can see Saka's here, right? And all of a sudden, the centre-backs get jockeyed into position, but that allows Eze the freedom to come in here. And that's exactly what happened with the second goal, because everyone's jogged to Saka, he floats the ball into here, right? And by the time the ball reaches Eze, these boys are going to have to shuffle across, but by then it's too late because the goal's already in Tottenham's goal. And again, that's all that happened in the first half. The amount of space that was in the middle was, quite frankly, embarrassing from Tottenham's perspective, because, and again, Tottenham played into our hands in that first half. They did. They played into our hands. The amount of space that I was seeing for not even just the Eze goal, the Trossard one as well. Like the second Eze goal, like was even a minute into the second half. Like, it was embarrassing. And then the fourth goal was even worse because, again, there's so much space in the middle. The amount of space that they were vacating was embarrassing. Like, even as an Arsenal fan, I felt bad because one thing that annoys me is shocking defending, right? And that's all I've seen from Tottenham all game. Yeah, they had a couple of, they had some moments in the second half after Richarlison scored, which, by the way, I will still state is shocking defending from our perspective, because Zubimendi gets caught napping on the ball and then Raya comes off his line and then Richarlison lobs him, right? And that's exactly why I would never say Raya is world class, Alisson level. He's just not. But it didn't really matter because we were so far ahead. It's okay, you can have your goal. Cool. Now, from an Arsenal perspective, tactically, we were very, very good. We were very good. We knew what Tottenham's weaknesses were. We knew where we could exploit them. And we did exactly that. We did exactly that. Yes, Tottenham played into our hands. But ultimately, we've got to exploit that. We've got to be the aggressors and take advantage of the opportunities presented to us. And that's exactly what we did. It was easy. It was fucking easy. I don't know how this Tottenham team were in the top 4 spaces early in the season, and I still don't know how they beat Man City. Honestly, I don't even think it's Thomas Frank at this point. Genuinely, I think it's the players, because they're crap. They're not good. They were where they were last season for a reason, because they're awful. But I will give mention. Eze, class. And I'm so glad that he got a hat-trick, because the story of it, Tottenham being linked to Eze, well, not even linked, they were trying to get him, and then we come in, just low blow them basically, take Eze out from underneath their noses, and then first North London derby, Hat-trick. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Now we are, what, 6 points clear of Chelsea? And now, what, like 7 clear of City? To me, City are still, like, City to me are still our, you know, competitors in this, like, title race, I would think. For me, Liverpool are out of it. I'm sorry, I just don't see Liverpool coming back into it. Chelsea, I'm hesitant to say Chelsea are in the title race because they haven't been in this position before, and it'll be interesting to see how they react if they get to the final 10 games. Personally, I don't think they will, but you never know. But right now, we're in the driving seat, and it's looking good, man. It's looking good. But if there's one other lesson I can teach you guys, never, and I mean never, hope and pray that Tottenham are going to do something. Because time and time again, when it comes crunch, they will let you down. Simple as. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed watching the review, and I'm out.